So my name is Caspar Sonnen. I'm the head of new media at IDFA, the International Documentary Film Festival in Amsterdam. And in 2007, I started a program there called IDFA DocLab, which I still curate, which is about how the digital revolution and interactive technology are changing the face of documentary storytelling, documentary media, cinema, and how filmmakers, authors, storytellers can create new forms of art. Just like in 1913, I guess it was pretty difficult for people like Dziga Vertov to say where cinema was going to be 5 years down the line. I think they had all sorts of ideas and ambitions and stuff that they wanted to explore. And some of them worked and some of them didn't. My hope is that there's this sort of tension between the interactive world, digital technology, and the traditional media world. On the one hand, we're really afraid of the shift in power going to the tech world, our privacy, our user data. Our films are now on servers that we don't control as we used to control the means of production and distribution. Yet, on the other side, we have so much more ways to tell new types of story, to get our stories out there, to promote our stories, to market our stories. And I think it's really important, and that's one of the things where the next pavilion can really provide an important meeting point for is we have to stop seeing cinema as something opposite to the internet. We have to stop seeing the digital media as a separate thing from what we used to do in theaters and how we used to do that in the analog world. Because in doing so, we're only helping the digital corporations in the digital world to eat even more of what we used to do. We have to adopt it. Like, that's where our audience is. That's where a lot of the excitement of the art form is. And that doesn't mean we should just put our films on small screens and put our films on websites and hey, that's that, and say farewell to cinemas. No, we have to say, how can we revitalize cinema? How can we make sure that what we love about cinema, watching it together on a big screen, how can we do that in ways that it's still viable? Maybe that means it has to become more exclusive. I mean, look at what happened to painting when photography came. Like, painting had to redefine itself, and we got amazing forms of visual arts as a result, because painters no longer could make a living going to war zones to paint battlefields. So they had to find a new way. So I think in that sense, new media and old media are much more closely related, sometimes than we like, and sometimes than we admit. And the moment when we just accept that is when we really can start seeing where we're going to be in the next 5 years. And one of the projects that we presented here last year in the Cross Media Corner, which I think the next pavilion came out of, was a project that we did together with UPian in Paris, and it was carried for the most part by MIT, the Open DocLab at MIT in Boston. And with them we created some of the most innovative projects that we knew, where we curated them and we asked MIT to look back into film history, to look back into media history and see what are the roots of some of the most innovative projects. If we talk about the Oculus Rift today, revolutionizing potentially what cinema can be in 5 years, we have to understand that not only by looking forward, but also by looking back at stereo photography. If we look at interactive storytelling, we have to look back at the earliest forms of that. And all those examples can be found on momentsofInnovation.mit.edu.